Hey there, Dan. How you doing?
Not bad, mate. How are you?
Pretty good, pretty good. Bought my acoustic round today.
So yes, we both have these large wooden boxes, these behemoths
There we
in
go.
our hands. You
Yeah.
have the Gibbo, I have the Taylor, it's all good.
Yeah, nice sounds.
Nice.
I was going to ask you, because we haven't got as long today, if we could just maybe look at a song you like to perform on the acoustic and you just take us through how to do it.
Sure, why not? Short and sweet, eh?
Nice.
Well, I've had the sort of pleasure recently of working with a friend of mine called Matt Mitchell on a couple of acoustic gigs.
Let's give him a shout out, actually.
I think we ought to. Yeah, he's a good guy. He was the vocalist of Furion, when he's hoping to do something more with those soon, with that band soon. And then Colour of Noise was the next band he had out, and now he's got a new project called Matt Mitchell and the Cold Hearts. And the single Black Diamonds is being played by Planet Rock.
Yeah, non-stop on Planet Rock, and it's great. Go and check it out. I'll put a link to it in the show notes.
Sorry, classic rock with a shot in the arm.
Yeah, it's really good.
So yeah, I was quite chuffed to be asked by Matt to play on a couple of acoustic gigs for him, and I had to sort of sing the songs as he's sort of taking a break. So I'm sort of left with, well, what songs do I know? What songs do I sing? And of course, on the acoustic guitar, it's a funny beast. You know, you can go and search for acoustic songs, and that's great. They're obviously going to work. But there's a whole bunch of other songs that can also work on acoustic guitar.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, we played Highway to Hell the other night on acoustic.
Yeah, it sounds great. I can imagine that sounds really
It works
good.
surprisingly well. What I'm going to do here is my take on dare I say, a James Blunt tune. I used to be in an acoustic trio. I had a guy who's a good drummer friend of mine who played percussion for us, the conga drums, and another singer and guitar player. And we used to go out as a trio called the Troubadours. Yeah. Folktastic.
The Minstrels.
The Minstrels, something like that.
Okay, the Troubadours.
So the Troubadours were the travelling musician. And we used to do a James Blunt tune called 1973.
Yeah.
Do you know the song?
I'm not sure. I think I probably will, yeah.
Well, it's really slow on the record, and unfortunately for my ears, I find that, while it's a cool tune, it sort of lumbers along, it's a little slow for its own good. Now, this is the cool thing when you have, just you and an acoustic guitar. You can play around with things without worrying about anybody else and having to get them involved. You're just going to go and play these songs. You do them however you like.
Yeah, gotcha.
You do your rendition of it. Now, the original record had this quite cool kind of bass line going on, sort of rocking along with each chord change. And I thought, how can I kind of emulate that? But I want to sort of emulate the different sort of steps within the piece. And by that I mean sort of volume and sort of vibes.
Yeah, okay.
With the live band, let's get this out of the way right now. If you've got a live band and you're packing sort of, bass guitar, drums, vocals, maybe even a keyboard player, maybe even more than one guitar player. If you're lucky, maybe you've got other members too. You can bring certain musicians in and out as you choose. And so the dynamics can be built on not just how loud and soft somebody plays, but also on who you're going to have playing at that particular time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with an acoustic guitar, it's a little different. Your dynamics are really sort of down to kind of what you're going to play on the instrument and how loud you're going to make that when you play it.
Yeah.
Single note lines, they're not going to be as loud. Whereas a full strummed chord is going to carry more weight.
Yeah.
And sometimes we want to carry weight and sometimes we don't. So the basic plot with this one starts with E minor. We've got a capo on the second. Goes to D, down to C, G, and do the F sharp bass.
D.
So you've got like a D sort of shape.
Yeah.
Bring your third finger across there to the B string.
Oh yeah.
and then the other two fingers sort of move, or you can sometimes attack it with your thumb.
My thumb, yeah.
So we've got that. Now, if I was just sort of playing it on the speed of the record, it's really slow. Well, I don't know about you, but I'm already falling asleep, and I've only heard about 8 bars of this.
Yeah. I know the tune though.
You know the tune, yeah?
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Also, the C sounds quite nice as like a C major 7.
Yeah.
Gives you that open vibe. There's a sort of a bass line. So, I'm not saying we're going to play that, but there's that kind of vibe to the bass line.
Okay.
So I thought, well, okay, let's simplify that down a little bit.
Is it worth looking at the bass line with me in the audience just quickly, just to...
Okay,
so... Quite a nice bass line, sorry to
this
ruin the flow.
So as I say, I'm kind of picking up on what's on the record here.
Yeah.
I'm not a bassist. I haven't sat down and meticulously worked the bass line out. So you slide from the 5th fret above the capo to the 7. Do that probably with your 3rd finger. Then you've got the 5th fret on the A. Yeah. So you've got kind of that sort of thing in between each chord. Okay.
That's cool.
So we've got this in between each chord: E minor, D, C, C major 7, and then the G and the D and F sharp. Fairly quick change at the end. Let's look at maybe the fingers you're playing the riff with. I think we can make this a little easier for you.
Yeah, okay.
So sliding up, slide with the 3rd, ending on the 1st, but rather than trying to cross a string with the 1st finger back to the E, slide down from the 7 to the 5. And it's a lot easier. You're doing this kind of rhythm.
Okay. D. Then it was C major. Then it was G.
So don't worry about the riff after you played the G. So you sort of settle on the G. 3, 4, 5, 6. It's a quick change. Now,
gotcha.
What I'm trying to do here.
Quite enjoyed putting the bass line over the top, actually.
That's
challenging. Yeah, I like
it. It is challenging. The thing is, I'm going to play it up to speed in a minute. And
yeah,
you're going to see.
Really challenging.
You're going to see that it sounds good. I always think if something sounds good, it's good. If it's different, if that's your interpretation, but it works,
why not?
Well, hey, there's grass on the wicket, let's play cricket.
Yeah.
so
That was split the audience.
So I'm thinking of the bass line, I'm thinking of the chords, I'm thinking of a way of carrying this entire song. You've got to remember when I was doing this, there was no bass in that little trio of ours. We're doing everything on the guitar. The other guy's playing a few chords. I've got to really bring it.
Yeah.
You know? So I went in something like this.
I assume Matt's singing on this one, or is that you singing as
I was singing.
Fun and games.
Yeah.
That kind of speed. Do you simplify the bass? Or?
No.
No, okay.
Going at a slower pace, maybe, if it's a bit of a bum fight at the old OT rooms, you know.
Yeah, but I get the idea. I'll get the speed. Yeah.
So let's add the words. Smaller, getting older. Journey's been just on your skin. Wish I had known that. Sorry. It's Mona. Wish I had known that. Journey plays same old song. Whoa, whoa. So something like that.
Cool.
Okay.
Sounds great.
Now what I did after that was I went into arpeggiated section. Time goes by, I will always be in a club with you in 1973. So here we go again. Time goes by, I will always be in a club with you in 1973. So here we go again. So let's look at that bit.
Okay, yeah,
you get the idea. Words not exactly like right, but
E minor 7.
Yeah. sorry. So yeah, so it's like a C but moved up a couple of frets.
Oh, with open.
And yeah, we just tackle the G only though, that's open. So we don't go above the G.
Yeah.
So we get the more floaty sort of arpeggiated section,
Yep.
which goes over the kind of chorusy bit.
Okay.
Time goes by, I will always be in the club with you in 1973. Here we go again. I will call you up every Saturday night and we both stay out till the morning light and we sing. Here we go again. And the time goes by, I will always be in the club with you in 1973, singing here we go again. And the time goes by, I will always be in the club with you in 1973, singing here we go again.
Hey.
Hey.
Very good. Lovely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, what I try to do here is building steps, as I said earlier.
Yeah.
So we have a sort of fairly sparse chord work, but the bass line's doing sort of some of the heavy lifting through the verse. And then to get that then, because it already sounds quite big, to sort of open up a bit, we go into the arpeggiated bit. And you notice when I sort of quieten that down a bit, you know, you can quieten that down a bit by just playing
More gently.
Playing more gently.
Fingers.
Yeah. Dumping some of the bass notes sometimes.
Yeah. Those just bring it out a bit, those higher notes. Nice.
A really great exercise you can do both on electric guitar and acoustic guitar is take something really simple like a chord. I'll take my capo off actually. Let's show you some little exercises about dynamics perhaps. I think sometimes it's so easy to get wrapped up in the thing about I want to learn more chords, I want to learn more scales, I want to play faster, and all of that's completely valid.
Yeah.
You know, of course it is. There's nothing wrong with learning technical things. There's nothing wrong with bolstering your theory. There's nothing wrong with getting more interesting sounds via more chords and things. But something which audiences in particular respond to, and which makes the difference in a performance between just bashing through the song and actually it being a performance, you know, is the dynamics.
Yeah.
You know, I worked with a guy once doing sort of acoustic stuff, and he used the phrase, I want to take the audience along with me.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of truth in that.
Yeah.
And as much as, you know, if you can draw an audience in,
yeah,
you know, you can go a long way with that. If you can kind of draw an audience in, listen to people like Bruce Springsteen. He's an amazing songwriter, but he's a great storyteller.
Absolutely.
You know, and you listen to, you know, you listen to the lyrics, you listen to what he's saying and the way he's saying it. It's a story.
It's like the dark side of the moon or something. You've gone on an entire journey throughout the whole. I know it's not an acoustic thing.
Yeah.
It's a journey, isn't it? The whole album is.
That's right. But whether it's acoustic or electric, dynamics are not something to be ignored. You know, and obviously to match things like good lyrics and having a vocalist who can tell a story so well, you need sympathetic dynamics that play to that. You know, is the tune exciting? Is it heavy? Is it light? Is it sad? Is it happy? What is it? What's going on in this tune? What do we want to convey? We need some peaks and troughs.
Yeah.
You know, even the best metal bands out there can only run on 11 for so long before they need peaks and troughs.
Yeah, it just gets boring.
Exactly. I remember Metallica was saying when they did the Black Album and they did the song Unforgiven, they took the idea of a quiet verse and a heavy chorus and they swapped it around so that the chorus is actually quite light and the verse is the heavy part, and it's quite clever.
Yeah.
Because it brings the light and shade into a slightly different place. So one thing we can do on acoustic guitar, bringing it back to our acoustic guitars here, is see, so maybe strumming a chord. I've just got E minor, the easiest one there. It doesn't matter what chord it really is. And see how quietly you can strum it. Just loosen your grip on the strings, on the plectrum, not the strings. So your pick is floating above the strings really, just sort of gliding across. Now apply a little bit more pressure, a little bit more resistance. Don't hold the pick any harder, but it's like you're applying resistance. Imagine at the moment
you change the angle.
Yeah, so you're just letting
really gently as I can.
That's right. So really you're offering no resistance to the string whatsoever. Now just offer up a bit of resistance by just allowing that pick to move slightly less. How loud can you get it? There's a massive dynamic range there. And everything from loud to quiet and in between. You know, if you start a song loud, sometimes it's good to drop it down maybe for a verse and then step it up a bit for a pre-chorus and have it banging for the chorus. Some songs even don't save their best for the chorus. You know, you wait till the guitar solo and that's the high point.
Yeah.
The thing is, when we translate that onto an acoustic guitar, you know, we're doing all of it. We're doing everything.
Yeah.
And when we do everything, you know, we're trying to encompass what the whole song is all about on one instrument.
Yeah.
We can't say to the bass player, if you just duck out for the first 32 bars, then we'll see you later. You know,
but you can play on just the top strings.
Right.
Yeah.
Or the bass strings or whatever it may be. Something else which is good from the point of view of dynamics, again electric or acoustic, is try and maintain a rhythm. Probably best started at a normal. Now how bright can we get it? It's harder, isn't it, when you've got to maintain a rhythm?
It's hard when you've got to play upstrokes.
Well, I actually swapped to a finger.
Yeah.
I swapped from a pick to a finger.
I did that as well, yeah.
Right. Because
I found that on what we were talking earlier about playing a Gibson Les Paul, and I was talking about getting quite an acoustic-y kind of... I didn't touch the pedals at all, I just went from thumbs for Man on the Moon to using the old plectrum.
Yeah, it totally reduces the attack. Interestingly, I was going to say sometimes when I've found when you put a acoustic through a PA system, sometimes when I've gone to do finger picking, you know, sometimes through a PA, not always, I guess, and maybe it depends on kind of what other kit you have in between, but I mean, for a lot of us, if we're not primarily acoustic guitar players, often our acoustic is brought out for the odd gig we get asked to do, or the odd song, or when we're teaching someone who's playing acoustic guitar, or like I do, I go into schools, I don't want to take an amp as well, so I take an acoustic guitar, and that does me fine. So on the occasions we go through a PA system, maybe we're not always investing in all the pedals and other things that we might want to sort of augment our signal chain.
Yeah.
When I was gigging with Matt the other night, actually, I was like quite jealous of the live sound that he had with his acoustic. It really was rather good. But sometimes I find that through PA systems, you can find like the sort of more rounded, warm sounds of the thumb hitting the bass string, which sounds good, you know, when you're at home.
Becomes real bassy.
It can be real boomy, or so sometimes what I do. I've
experienced that,
yeah. I mean,
this one's quite nicely set up for not necessarily getting that. And what I love about this is also the volume controls just inside the sound hub.
That helps.
Quite good, yeah.
I mean, with this, my volume controls are mounted on the side.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I actually have one of those rubber discs which fits in the hole.
Yeah, I do as well.
And it's annoying, obviously, if your volume control's there, you're a bit lost.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Bit of a
Can't
problem.
use that anymore.
But I actually found the other night when I was gigging that putting the rubber cover over the sound hole made quite a big difference. You know, they're pennies really, and they cost just a few quid, but it actually worked wonders.
Yeah.
With getting a far better sort of live sound, not dogged by feedback and resonance problems, you know, whether, you know, sort of a particular frequency is resonating with your guitar string and then causes it to kind of ring inadvertently, which is not particularly pleasant.
Might actually cut out something on mine. Yeah, it's a good point.
Well, yeah, I suppose you could put a finger in there or something.
Yeah.
But I find sometimes I'm better off using pick and fingers. You know, it's not as dexterous for some things, but
this is that really basic kind of thing getting the thumb.
So yeah, now I'm picking the bass notes with my pick. That works quite well, and also it means I'm set up if I'm taking an acoustic solo.
Yeah.
If I'm in a duo or something. I'm sort of ready to do that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I've got all the other fingers ready for. So you've got a bit of a compromise. You've got a bit of a compromise there, maybe by doing that. I remember reading an interview with Brad Paisley, of course, an amazing country guitar player.
Yeah.
And he was saying in the studio he uses pick and fingers quite a lot. And I suppose this is kind of, with acoustic guitar, like fingers or pick and fingers is the sort of same equivalent as a guitar player using just a pick or pick and fingers, if you see what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And he was saying that when he uses, a lot of the sort of pick and fingers stuff in the studio, you've got a mic in front of your amp, it's super sensitive, it picks everything up.
Yeah. And
if you want to know how sensitive a mic is, there's a real cool little video out there with, is it Tim Pierce? Session Sausage? Yeah. And there's a thing where he shows you sort of around his studio and he plugs different guitars in, looks at different parts on tracks. And he said, downstairs I've got a 4x12 and there's mics all over it. I've got an SM58, he's got a whole bunch of other mics. And he's got mic preamps and he can bring up each mic on his 4x12 and mix the mic sounds.
Oh, that's a good setup.
Isn't it? Yeah. And it all sounds hugely different. Like he said, you can find that by bringing up one mic with certain sounds, it produces more mids than with another. If it's too much, you can dial in another mic or dial that out. And he's mixing these mic sounds, and the difference is amazing. If you're wondering just how sensitive a microphone is once it's in front of your amp, have a look at that video. It's quite an eye-opener.
Okay, yeah, that's great.
But Brad Paisley was saying that, in the studio he will use more of the pick and finger stuff because the mic is picking it up. The sensitivity of the mic is hearing everything. Whereas he said when I go out live, it doesn't always translate across in a big live arena. It just doesn't always kind of like sort of hit you quite the same. And he said probably in that scenario, although he does use pick and fingers, he uses more sort of plectrum-based stuff for that reason because of the attack and everything, which is exactly what I'm kind of sort of referring to. Even if you've got a compressor on there, which will make the notes pop out a bit better, you've still got the softness of the tone which you get from your fingers rather than the more sort of tighter, brighter sounds that you get with the plectrum.
Yeah.
So it's something worth experimenting with, because the other thing too is most of us probably don't sort of sit there with our PA on full chattel in our living room,
testing it out. Exactly.
Exactly. So, if we're honest, most of us find that our test bed is going to the gig.
Yeah.
And by then you haven't really had any kind of test at all.
Yeah.
You've rolled up and you've turned on and plugged everything in and away we go.
Cross your fingers, I hope it works.
That's right. I mean, if you do want things which kind of work very well with an acoustic guitar, there's a pretty amazing unit by LR Baggs called the Venue DI, which I believe has a tuner built in, and it also has like a boost built in if you want to kind of boost for solos, and it's got a parametric EQ as well, which allows you to dial out any of the nasty noises which might cause you sort of problems with feedback.
So that's like a single pedal, or?
Yeah, it's quite pricey. It always used to be around the 300 quid mark. It's quite salty. There's also the Fishman Aura system, which allows you quite a lot of tonal control as well. Some preamps on guitars have things like notch filters, which allows us to kind of take out a small sort of slither of offending EQ that may be feeding back and keep everything else. So luckily we can't really tell the difference tonally, but we can tell that it ain't feeding back no more. But all of those things can help. Also, while gigging with Matt, I was seeing how useful a looper pedal could be.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
They are. I mean, he was using a Bosch GE7 graphic EQ just to boost for solos, which again was working exceptionally well. But yeah, it's worth with an acoustic guitar sort of experimenting with outboard gear. if you are going to do any more than the odd song or the odd gig here and there, you know, it certainly got me thinking. So yeah, it's worth looking into that and seeing what's out there, because, you know, a good sound, electric or acoustic, is far more inspiring. And an acoustic guitar is quite a different animal when you plug it into a PA. It can become incredibly lively.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Thank you.
All right. No
Perfect.
worries.
Thank you
Cheers.
very much.